No matter where I go, I refuse to be a passive observer. I'm suspicious of the brochures handed out on the other side of the customs line because I know the rewards of digging deeper. But that also means that at any moment I need to be prepared for a dramatic change in plans.
I seriously can't believe I'm doing this.
From the Bay Islands to its deep jungle interior, Honduras seemed to have more surprises than anywhere I'd been before. But the rewards of walking the road less traveled demanded that I step outside my comfort zone and have faith in my guides, and always make sure I represent the United States of America as the gracious and humble nation we are.
Take that, Norway.
My name is Aaron Falls. I'm a diver, a divulger, an indulger, and I'm going into the drink. Our point of focus is actually the island of Utila. Utila is a tiny little dot on the westernmost end of a chain of little dots known as the Bay Islands, off the coast of Honduras. Utila's remote west end certainly is the tranquil hideaway that it looks like. It's kind of implied when you can only access it by boat. But the counterpoint to this peace and quiet is the downtown hustle in and around Eastern Harbor. My sense of direction is so well tuned that I'd get lost in my bathroom. But it was clear that there was way more to Utila than just jungle and reef. So it was a stroke of luck that I hooked up with Tony, who's pretty much the guy you want to know if you want the inside scoop here. It's the typical story. Tony came down to Utila decades ago and somehow just never left. Tony knows everyone. Everyone loves Tony.
I'm going to make a name for myself. Watch. I'm going to take Utila or I'll take the Bay Islands back.
First order of business.
All right, we're good.
Baseball. Nothing says Honduras like a day at the ballpark, right? Believe it or not, in spite of only having about 2,000 residents, Utila's got a very active league that everyone here takes very seriously.
I asked him how much he had on the game today. He said $5 million.
Did $5 million?
Yeah. So then I asked him which team it was on. He goes, the one that wins.
You had $5 million on one. I need your bookie.
The only thing more cutthroat than their politics are their baseball rivalries.
You know, we really could use some extra pitchers in the Red Sox to fill out our bullpen, so I'm scouting.
I had no idea sporting a home team hat would make me so many instant friends, but evidently all of Utila agrees on one thing. They are not fans of the boys from the Bronx.
We are the Yankee killers, exactly right. Apparently this is Red Sox country. Yeah. Or it's basically anybody that'll beat the Yankees country. So, this is my country.
After a few innings and a little shameless flirting, it was time to eat. And Tony's keen to lay some homegrown cuisine on me.
Yeah, I'll have one.
Of course you will. If I'm having some, you're having some.
Even though it smelled delicious, it was purely out of trust in my host that I took a gamble on the roadside chef.
Why the feet? Why the pig's feet? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good stuff. Are you anticipating me getting messier? Yeah. That's probably pretty fair.
Welcome to the Tritanic Bar, consistently ranked as one of the best bars anywhere in the world. It's a multi-level affair that stretches across bridges and ladders, all built into the highest recesses of mango trees, and it's at this point that Tony becomes the best and worst tour guide you could possibly have. Obviously, I could see why Tony likes hanging out here. It is, as the Marines say, a target-rich environment. Here's a surprising little nugget of wisdom I picked up between cocktails. All girls are flattered if you mistake them for being Swedish, unless they're Norwegian.
Swedish people are dumb. They're fucking stupid.
I guess that's what happens when you're working on that trademark international diplomacy. Unfortunately, last call is inevitable no matter how high off the ground the bar is.
This is our bar tab, just so you know. It says, thank you. It's very polite. Thank you for coming to the Titanic Bar. 1,000 L. So I gotta pull out my wad of L, and we gotta pay. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
And thank you again. Super polite here at the Titanic Bar. Tony, are you coming? I'm not going without you. All right. I'm not going without you either.
Welcome aboard Aggressor Fleet, the ultimate in live-aboard scuba diving.
For more information about dive training, go to PADI.com.
Hi, Mr. Johnny.
How are you? Everything okay?
I don't even remember where we were headed, but it doesn't matter.
My name is Aaron.
Nice to
It's
meet
very
you.
nice to meet you.
Meeting Johnny Bodden was one of the high points of my career as a diver. The history of scuba diving in Utila literally begins with Mr. Johnny. When the waters around the island were still a mysterious and frightening place, he was the first to brave the unknown, exploring the reefs with abandon and homemade gear.
No matter how many times I lift this, it's heavier than it looks.
To bring this up from the bottom about 40 feet of water.
It was in 40 feet, you said?
Yeah.
You brought it up. You swam it up.
Because I had the duck fins and the weight to bring it up.
How about this one right here?
This is the old anchor that I found in this wreck here.
For this one.
His razor-sharp memory was hypnotic.
Dropped on it.
As the longtime leader in the water purification business on Utila, and with a half-century of diving experience here, the man knows what he's talking about.
I don't go diving anymore, but my friends tell me everything is gone. The temperatures of the water now is hotter than it was before. Yeah, everything has changed. And it's getting worse.
I'd seen the reefs for myself. I'd certainly noticed an overall lack in the large schools of fish, and the need to look small for inspiration. Johnny's words resounded with authority. The question I had was whether or not what I was seeing in Utila was the result of irresponsibility, or if the inevitable change that comes with time required a baseline shift. In the here and now, given all that's going on around it, maybe this is what a healthy Utilian reef is supposed to look like. The answer, I hoped, was an island away. I had a feeling Utila's big sister Roatan had something to say about the matter. Roatan, the largest of Honduras' Bay Islands and nearly twice the size of Utila, it's precariously perched on the edge of the largest barrier reef in the Western Hemisphere. Normally this would be enough to pique my interest. I was here on a mission to compare and contrast. I went, for probably the first time in my life, to inspect rather than just simply experience a place I'd never been before. The first spot we went to was Mary's Place, probably the most popular of the island's dive sites. Right off the bat, it was clear why. It was a beautiful collection of deep fissures and mini canyons, and dramatically vertical walls that sank straight into the abyss. Pretty soon I forgot I was there to inspect anything. I don't know who Mary is, but I'm guessing her house was the nicest one in her neighborhood. Because I really did not want to leave her place. It was certainly busier than Utilla's reefs, but the food chain still wasn't represented from top to bottom. There were no sharks to speak of. I'll admit that I knew that the next site they were going to drop me on was one of the most famous shark dives in the Caribbean. But at this point in my trip, I had yet to see shark numero uno at any of the Bay Islands. I was pretty sure the best I could expect was a couple of medium-sized predators that were just as benign. I realized I was going to have to readjust my attitude right around the time I learned that this dive isn't open to just anyone, and they do a full orientation and screening before you're even allowed to get on the boat. Orientation complete and my world traveler ego in check, and we're at the site known as Cara a Cara in about 10 minutes. For those of you who don't speak Spanish, you'll appreciate knowing that Cara a Cara literally means face to face. Believe me, there is no irony in this at all.
ScubaPro.com. Deep down, you want the best. Go to Backscatter.com for all your underwater photo and video needs.
Just the sound of the motors pulling up meant the sharks were already getting excited. We had to get down there quickly. I thought I knew what I was in for, but I will freely admit I wasn't prepared for how nuts it got down there. It wasn't a frenzy, it was a fury. Call them husky, big-boned, plus-sized, whatever you want. They were the largest Caribbean reef sharks I had ever seen, and they were up in my grill. It was 15 of the most intense minutes of my life. It's not even worth debating that Roatan's established and strictly enforced marine park is a really good idea. Whether or not it made the difference between what I saw here and what I saw over on Utila required a more thorough investigation than I had time for. What I do know is that it facilitates very different, and in some cases far more exciting, marine encounters. Baseline shift or not, the experiences in Utila and Roatan would stay with me long after I left. Meanwhile, the sun was setting in Utila town and things were getting more surreal by the minute. Let's start with my home for the evening, the Jade Seahorse. I don't even know where to begin. It looked like something out of an acid trip fairy tale. Some hotels have a cocktail waiting for you on arrival. The Jade Seahorse might as well have been handing out peyote. It's the manifestation of artist Neil Keller's ongoing vision. And it wasn't just the art that made this place so special. It's the tenacity and obsessiveness that goes into collecting the objects that make up its construction. Glass beads, broken bottles, tiles, anything that inspires him. Everything from the shower heads to the archways. It's all a never-ending canvas for Neil to work on. Oh yeah, this would be a really good time to point out my paralyzing fear of spiders. Staying at the Jade Seahorse was one of those rare moments where I was fascinated by my surroundings and, for most waking hours, also frozen with terror. I'm serious, they were everywhere. Sleeping here was going to require some serious self-medication. What unfolded next was an incredible twist of fate. The biggest mystery of all showed up, tucked away on a dusty shelf in a late-night cantina. A bottle of something, with a label that was obviously homemade. The contents were intriguing. Twigs, leaves, sticks, roots, and blades of grass, all combining to create a putrid bottom-of-the-bayou brown. Giffity, it was called, and that was all they were willing to tell us. Half a shot was all their conscience was willing to pour. Giffity just grew more enigmatic the longer we searched, mostly because of the first rule of Giffity. You do not talk about Giffity. It was just too tempting to resist investigating.
No more sorrow, no more dying.
But this meant going deep into the jungles of the mainland, where I was going to need more than just luck.
In a land where we'll never grow.
Closed captioning provided by Gun Barrel Gold. The world's largest community for divers on the internet, scubaboard.com.
From the port of La Ceiba, it was a 5-hour journey through the interior of the mainland and back out to the edge of the jungle in the coastal town of Trujillo. I'm not kidding. It was all we could do to find anyone anywhere who would speak on the record about it. What we were able to discern was that Giffity is a centuries-old tradition of the Garifuna tribe. And apparently, if you aren't Garifuna, you're not qualified or allowed to talk about it. And then, at the last minute, a miracle showed up.
What's this thing Tarzan used to hang on?
The vine.
Fine.
Yeah, it's a vine. We got it. It's a vine. And this one was specially used as an aphrodisiac.
This is Janet Arzu,
Right?
a
But
local lady of
people
Garifuna
used to
heritage who was more than happy to
drink
tell
that
us
much
anything we
liquor
wanted
and
to
get
know
drunk.
about Giffity,
But now we
as
don't.
long as we got her to work on
Gotcha.
time.
So, why do you think why is it kept so, why is it so secret?
Well, that's a cultural thing.
Okay.
You know that there has been, as in the United States, a lot of segregation. Everybody had their own means to get their medicine, prepare their medicine, because the Garifuna would not be treated by a Spanish doctor.
Okay.
Times back, before independence.
Apart from the brilliant history
Very
lesson,
bad.
Janet also answered the question of why no one wants to give us a definitive recipe for making this stuff.
Because since it was, bush and very far to walk, people used to prepare it with the herbs that they had around.
It was way past the witching hour when we finally reached the hotel in Trujillo. We decided to do one more poke through the contents before drinking, which is right around the time we noticed something interesting at the bottom of the bottle.
Ah! I wonder what those seeds are.
At the risk of alienating viewers, I gotta tell you, no matter where I go on Earth, I cannot seem to escape Canadians or Texans. So I don't know why I was surprised to find both in the heart of the Honduran jungle.
Here we go!
Two more things, Giffity, and then you can go grab a snack. First, if a Garifuna woman warns you not to drink more than one shot a day, listen to her. Listen to her. And second, never underestimate the power of a Texan's private stock.
It certainly didn't have the kick that yours did.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I would just like to say how much I love this country, how much I love its roots, its leaves,
It's roots.
its herbs, its expats, its locals.
Can I just say hi, Mom?
Oh man, I gotta.
I left Honduras with more questions than answers. And that's okay. Sometimes the mystery's better left unsolved. Hopefully the constant forward movement of time would serve to benefit Honduras, and in the same breath teach it to always hold some of those secrets close to its chest. For some reason, as deep as many of these traditions go, I don't think that's going to be a problem. For now, the only truly pressing issue is exactly just what ailment I'm going to have to fake to get someone to bottle me up a remedy for it.
I'm gonna need a beer to wash that down. That was, yeah, wow.
Travel provided by Continental Airlines. Work hard, fly right.
I guess I need to ask, why would one ever need to push a panic button on a Cessna?
Well, this is a sticker.
It's 6:20 in the morning. I'm somewhere in Honduras. Nick, where are we? We're back on the paved roads, which is a good thing. And I'm trying to think of something witty to say, but it's 6:20. And a serious case of Montezuma's revenge. And a load of Giffity. I don't really have anything. Thank you for watching. I'd like to thank Nick for shooting. Thank you, Nick.